Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio. Your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever in the world you are today. And I know there's people literally right around the world all tuned in today to this lovely station. I'm Simon MacDonald. I'm your host today. I'm the presenter and the co-presenter of everything else as well. Dr. Jacqueline is going to be producing the show today. So unfortunately, Diane and Helena can't make it today. They're away out on other assignments. So they've left it to me. So let's have some fun. This today is our last show before the new year. So let's make it a bit festive. And look, I'm a Scotsman. I've got my kilt on today. So there we go. Right. So let's have a festive time. Oh, and just I'm armed as well. So there we go. So Merry Christmas to all of you. So it's been an interesting week with the royal goings on as usual, but I've tried to keep it a little bit more festive if I can this week for you. So let's make a start on this for our royal roundup of today, 18th of December 2024. I was nearly going to say 1924, giving my age away. Anyway, so let's start. King Charles has beefed up his team at Buckingham Palace after he hired prestigious Diplomat as a new top aide. Theo Rycroft, who's currently a deputy head of mission in Paris, has been appointed as the King's Deputy Private Secretary. This role, which is known to be one of the most senior positions in the royal household, will see Theo advise the monarch on both his public work and his private family matters as well. Theo Rycroft was spotted accompanying Prince William during his recent trip to Paris, having helped to arrange the future King's successful meeting with the US President-elect Donald Trump. So anyway, he's married, not Donald Trump. Well, yes, he is married, isn't he? Theo is married to the Honourable Flora Astor, who is a half-sister of Samantha Cameron. And Samantha, in turn, is the wife of the former Prime Minister, David Cameron. Anyway, Queen Camilla, she treated her family to a festive night out at the theatre before they all travelled home in a Ford Transit minibus. Would you believe it? That all the Rolls Royces must be out on hire. Anyway, the Queen, she was spotted leaving the Fortune Theatre in central London last night after watching a special Christmas performance of the show Operation Mincemeat. Now, the Queen was joined at the theatre by her daughter, Laura Lopes, their son-in-law, Harry Lopes, grandchildren, Louis and Gus, and Eliza Lopes, granddaughter, Lola Parker Bowles, as well as her niece, Alice Irwin. So after the show, the group were all seen leaving the theatre and chose to travel back to their homes in a down-to-earth minibus. I think in America you'd call it an SUV, possibly. So there we go. So, and now, as the royal family pull together more than ever, insiders say Prince William, who recently described this year as the hardest of his life, is determined that the new year rings in a new chapter for Kate by whisking her off her feet for a second romantic honeymoon. The last year has left them much closer than ever with all the problems they've had. And the foundations of their marriage seemingly impregnable. And the hardship of this year has brought making time for one another so very, very important. Wills is ever the romantic, and Kate values their alone time as well. Nothing more special than having her own prince to herself. So he's planning a romantic getaway, just the two of them. And he set the wheels in motion to whisk Kate away, and those close to him wouldn't be surprised if the royal couple took this time out to reaffirm their wedding vows in a private blessing. So while the rift between the royal family and Meghan Markle and Prince Harry only appears to be deepening after the release of the Sussexes, that's a difficult word to say, the Sussexes, new Netflix documentary last week. So the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, actually, they've just released their 2024 Christmas card. And their festive design featured 6 personal photos on a forest green background, including a delightful image showing Prince Harry and Meghan Markle embracing their 2 children, Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet. The youngsters actually looked adorable in the snapshot as they sweetly ran into their parents' open arms. Lilibet, 3, and dressed in a summer dress, while Archie, aged 5, looked smart in jeans and a khaki jumper. And their vibrant red hair nonetheless stole the show, with Lilibet sporting long auburn locks. So there we go. So yeah, Daddy's got the influence there. The Duke of York has once again grabbed the headlines as his close ties to Yang Tengbo, the alleged Chinese spy, have come to light. He's been advised to uninvite himself from the annual Christmas Sandringham family get-together to prevent any further embarrassment for the royal family amidst the ongoing Chinese spy controversy. We should expect in future to see Prince Andrew only attending key family events such as weddings and funerals. Initially expected to join the royal family's traditional day church walk at Sandringham, a moment widely captured by the media, he will now be notably absent. So in what appears to be a gesture of support for her husband, Sarah, the Duchess of York, will also skip the Sandringham festivities. The couple is reportedly planning to spend the day together at their shared residence, the Royal Lodge in Windsor Great Park in Berkshire. Apparently that house is in a bit of a state, so they'll be spending the days rearranging the buckets catching the drips, I think, coming down from the leaky roof. It remains uncertain whether the Duke will be present at King Charles' customary pre-Christmas lunch at Buckingham Palace tomorrow, so we'll find that one out later. Princess of Wales has remained firm in her stance against the inclusion of Prince Andrew in this year's Christmas Carol service, which she's organised. And despite the efforts by King Charles to regenerate the Duke of York into the family gatherings, the annual Carol service hosted by Kate at Westminster Abbey has marked her return to the public engagements following her cancer diagnosis earlier this year. The event was attended by 22 members of the extended royal family, but noticeably did not include Prince Andrew, once again drawing attention to his strained relationship with the key royals. King has expressed intentions to restore some level of status for the younger brother. However, both Prince William and Kate Middleton have opposed the idea. Princess Anne, she's been the hardest working royal, based on a number of official engagements over the last 4 years. And she's attended a total of 217 engagements this year alone. That's a lot of work. And for anybody who says the royal family, what the heck do they do? Sit and reign all day? No, they work. And Princess Anne in particular, she's an incredible stalwart and a great worker. And finally, the Queen once hilariously pranked 2 American tourists. Now, I'm talking about the late Queen Elizabeth here. And according to her former protection officer, Richard Griffin, he recounted coming across a pair of hikers while they were accompanying Her Majesty on a walk around the grounds of Balmoral Castle. When the duo of the Americans failed to recognize the Queen, she saw an opportunity to have some fun out of it. So the plucky tourists asked the Queen who they thought was just another visitor if she lived in the area. Well, in response, she told the truth, revealing that, she had a house just over the hill, but leaving out one important detail, of course. Still not catching on, they asked if she had ever met the Queen. And promptly, her brilliant reply, quick as a flash, she said, "Well, I haven't, but Dick here meets her regularly." So according to Richard, the encounter ended with the pair snapping a selfie with the protection officer, then going on their merry way, none the wiser. And who could forget the Queen's hilarious comeback when a guard stopped her while she was trying to drive into the Royal Windsor Horse Show. Having not recognised her, he must have led a very sheltered life. It's reported he told Her Majesty, "Sorry, love, you can't come in without a sticker." Well, her brilliant response was simple. I think if you check, I will be allowed to come in. So there we have it, the Royal Roundup today. And a slight festive note to it as well. So anyway, this week, as I say, Scotland here today, it is a horrible day, believe me. It is blowing a gale and it is pouring down with rain, absolutely torrential. So yeah, definitely tonight is a night for the fire. And Christmas trees up, so we're all festive in this household. So let's have some strange but true. Yes, we do the strange but true facts each week, and I enjoy digging up all these different things as well. There's some interesting things, and there's some not so interesting ones. I try and sift out the ones that are appropriate. So I'm trying to put a slight sort of festive type note onto it today. So let's start then. So it snowed in the Sahara Desert for 30 minutes on February the 18th, 1979. Now, who would believe it? And in that vein, it snows metal on the planet Venus. There are two types that have been found. There's galena and bismuthinite. Yes, it's quite a difficult one to pronounce that as well. I always seem to get the difficult ones to pronounce. Bismuthinite. Yeah, that'll do. So there we are. Rains metal on Venus. I wonder if it rusts. So, and again, looking to the skies, can't see much up there tonight with the clouds and the rain. But however, there's more stars in space than there are grains of sand on every beach in the world. I wonder who counted it. I mean, you know, the mind boggles. You just look at one sandy beach and you just think, how many grains of sand are here? But then you take in the whole world and apparently there's more stars than all that sand. Wow, when will the bricks arrive? So on a Christmassy note, there's a town in Indiana called Santa Claus. Would you believe it? Wow, must go there. Especially at Christmas time. I should think they're very busy. So, and finally, Santa Claus, now I'm talking the jolly man, I'm not talking the town, and Santa Claus was actually issued a pilot's license by the US government in 1927. And they also gave him airway maps and promised to keep the runway lights on. All of them? Wow. Yes, right. You know, there we are. Just you know, imagine your tax money is being put to very good use, of course, in the States just now. So I wonder if Mr. Trump will have something to say about that when he gets in behind the reins of power at the beginning of the year. Does he believe in Santa Claus? Well, I think he maybe believes he is Santa Claus. So there we are. I'm not going to get down the political route today. But anyway, finally, we got to look at, well, you know, each week I've always tried to do something topical, and obviously it's got to be Scottish as well. And again, look, it's the festive period. We've got Christmas and New Year. Over here, we call the New Year, we call it Hogman. So what I'm looking at this week is Scottish festive traditions. So 'tis the season to be jolly. And if you're celebrating Christmas or Hogmanay in Scotland this year, there are lots of seasonal Scottish traditions that you can take part in. Some of them old, and some of them quite new as well. So let's go back to the beginnings then. The Neolithic solstice. Celtic pagans held celebrations around the time of winter solstice, which was usually around the 21st or 22nd of December. And that was an acknowledgement to the shortest day of the year. The festivities were in part to brighten the dark winter days and to appease the gods and allow the sun to return. Then the Vikings began raiding Scotland in the late 700s AD, and they settled here from the 8th to the 15th century. The Vikings from Norway, they brought their own way of celebrating the winter solstice, which they referred to as Jol. This Old Norse term has its roots in the time of Yule, the pagan festivities, which took place across what we now know as Christmas time, as well as being translated from Norse poetry as the word for feast. So highly appropriate, since midwinter feast was a key part of Viking celebrations. In fact, I think the Vikings would have a feast at the slightest excuse anyway, but winter they really laid it on with a trowel. So there's plenty to do in Scotland in the winter, and most Scots love getting in the festive spirit. But did you know that Christmas was actually banned here for almost 4 centuries? So before the Reformation in 1560, Christmas in Scotland had been a religious feasting day. Then the powerful Kirk, or Church, frowning upon anything related to Roman Catholicism, the Scottish Parliament passed a law in 1640 that made celebrating Yule vacations illegal. The baking of Yule bread was a criminal act. Goodness. Even after Charles II was restored to the throne, celebrating Christmas was still frowned upon in Scotland for a long time. And it wasn't actually until 1958 that 25th of December became a Scottish public holiday, which is why Hogman and New Year celebrations in Scotland have become so important. So Christmas in Scotland today, well, as well as Christmas Day becoming a public holiday in 1958 in Scotland, both Boxing Day, the 26th of December, and New Year's Day achieved public holiday status over a decade later in 1974. Most families love to celebrate Christmas throughout Scotland, as they do everywhere else in the world, and that's ranging from the Outer Hebrides to the Northern Isles of Orkney and Shetland, to the Highlands, the Lowlands, and the Central Belt. If you're curious about Christmases in the past, let's take a wee peek into what the Scottish Merry Christmas looked like through the years. So Scottish Christmas traditions. Working on Christmas Day, well, it's now a distant memory for a lot of Scots, but there are many old traditions that people still hold on to. For example, some folk like to bake unleavened bread, Yule bread, for each person in the family, and whoever finds a trinket, coin, or charm in their loaf will be blessed with good luck for the year. Other traditions include burning a twig from a round tree as a way to get rid of any bad feelings between family and friends. I think Prince Harry might have to burn the whole tree, never mind just a twig. And then the first footer, which is a special name historically given to the first person to arrive on Christmas Day. Now, this tradition is now commonly associated more with New Year's Day. And to bless their guests, first footers come with such gifts as a piece of coal or a log, whiskey, salt, and bread. And the coal or wood was to give warmth, the whiskey to give cheer, of course, and the salt is to ward off the evil. And the bread, well, that's to give sustenance. Black bun is also a popular first footing gift, and black bun is a traditional one. It's made with raisins, currants, almonds, citrus peel, allspice, ginger, and cinnamon, a lot of booze, and topped with pastry. It's a filling not dissimilar to that of the traditional Christmas cake. So modern Scottish Christmas traditions are similar to those of other Western countries. People will sing carols, or wassailing as they call it down in Devon and Cornwall, and decorate the houses with lights, putting up the Christmas tree in the window and a wreath on the door. Children, they write letters to Santa Claus, and on Christmas Eve, they leave something for him to eat, like a mince pie, and a drink, like, well, maybe sherry, but more often not whiskey. And when he comes to visit in the night, it's a cold night, bit of whiskey, does no harm. So Christmas Eve, some families like to attend midnight mass or the watch night service, and on Christmas Day, people give and receive presents before gathering around the table for what we could call a hearty lunch. People will pull Christmas crackers, tell jokes, usually bad ones, make toasts to absent friends, and just hark over past events of the year, and then relax for the rest of the day off in front of the television to watch the annual King's speech. New Year's Eve in Scotland is called Hogman. Now, this joyful gathering was especially celebrated in the years when Christmas was banned, and celebrations could last for days, and actually they often still do. I know, we suffer for it. Edinburgh hosts one of the biggest and most famous Hogman street parties with an amazing fireworks display. All over the country, Scottish people brighten up the dark winter with music, poetry, and bonfires, and just generally have a whale of a time. Plenty of Scottish Hogman traditions, some dating back centuries, and some only a few decades old. Certainly the most famous of all, and it's a global thing, and it's the singing of Auld Lang Syne, which was written by the iconic Scottish poet Robert Burns, or Robbie Burns as he's known better here, and sees people gathering and linking arms to sing together. Well, this became a popular convention by the mid-20th century. And there are other poems and songs by writers like Robert Louis Stevenson that celebrate Hogmanay and the passing of the year. But nothing holds a haggis to Burns' classic song. I mean, it really is. Everybody knows it. And Scotland also has some weird and wonderful Hogmanay events. The Stonehaven Fireballs Festival has its roots in pagan traditions. For nearly a century, residents of this Aberdeenshire town have paraded along the streets on Hogmanay, swinging giant fireballs to drive evil spirits away and purge the old year. It's quite a spectacular event. In the Orkney, well, you'll need to fight for a view on the Kirkwall Ba on New Year's Day, which sees almost an entire town turned into a football pitch for a chaotic and competitive kickabout. And again, it can turn into the Whiskey Olympics as well. There's quite a lot of that about. In Burghead in Murray, the burning of the Clavey involves carrying a flaming tar-filled barrel through the streets on the 11th of January, which is the Gaelic New Year's Eve, which dates back to the time before the Gregorian calendar was adopted. Then some Scots, well, they like to encourage good luck in the new year by doing a spot of redding and cleaning their house from top to bottom. It's a good one for getting the children involved, well, if you're lucky. And that's done on Hogmanay. It's also meant to be bad luck to clean or do the laundry on New Year's Day, in case you sweep or wash away the good luck. So instead of cleaning, the more thick-skinned of us may take part in the Looney Dook, a modern tradition where people take a dip in the Firth of Forth on New Year's Day. And believe me, the Firth of Forth, even in the summer, is very, very cold. So finally, well, how do you say Merry Christmas in Scottish Gaelic? Well, the spelling is very different to the actual pronunciation. And forgive me, Gaelic speakers on here tonight, if I have not got it right. But it should be Nolig Chreithil. So there we are. So I will drink a toast to you now and say Nolig Chreithil. Cheers. Or Slàinte, as we would say in Scotland. So that is a pocket of what we do at Christmas in New Year in Scotland. And certainly Hogmanay or New Year is still in many areas regarded as a bigger event than Christmas. But I don't know, I like Christmas. I think there's something special about it. Everybody's friendly at Christmas. Well, most of us are. I think there's some families, not mentioning any names, bang goes the knighthood, that are maybe slightly dysfunctional. But anyway, there's a warmth about Christmas, and it's just so lovely to see the houses decorated and get the Christmas tree up and all the decorations out. And I mean, even my dog has a wreath of tinsel around her neck instead of her regular collar now. So she's well and truly into the Christmas spirit, and got her nose looking underneath the Christmas tree at parcels there, thinking, which one's for me? So I've got to keep an eye on her there. So there we go. So that was a bit of fun anyway, and festive fun too. And I hope you all have a very Merry Christmas. So let's have a look at things happening on this day. Where do we start? Well, on this day, in 1777, the first US National Thanksgiving Day commemorating the British General Burgoyne's surrender. And then on this day in 1787, New Jersey becomes the third state to ratify the US Constitution. In 1917, the 18th Amendment to the US Constitution authorizing prohibition of alcohol is approved by US Congress and sent to the Senate for ratification. Boy, that spoiled some people's Christmas, I'll bet. And probably cost a few votes as well. So in 1965, on this day, Frank Borman and Jim Lovell splashed down in the Atlantic after their 2-week Gemini 7 mission, just in time for Christmas. But they're just too late to post their Christmas cards in the first class postage. There we go. Birthdays on this day. Well, let's go back a bit. In 1863, Franz Ferdinand, the Archduke of Austria, whose assassination in 1914 led to the declaration of war and the start of World War I. And he was born in Graz in Austria. Another birthday today in 1946. Steven Spielberg, the American movie director, famous for lots and lots of movies. Then there's E.T., the Jaws, Schindler's List, many, many others. And he was born in Cincinnati in Ohio, and he is 77 today. Happy birthday, Stephen. I'm going to have too much of this tonight. I hope it's a long list. In 1963, on this day, Brad Pitt, the American actor and producer, was born in Shawnee in Oklahoma, and he is 61 today. Happy birthday, Brad, and cheers. And interesting story with Brad Pitt. He used to be a customer of mine at my smokehouse. He was making a film in Glasgow at the time, and he had heard and he tried apparently my smoked salmon in the hotel where he was staying. And so he wanted some, so he asked where he could get it. And I was working away in the smokehouse, and this dub-a-dub-a-dub, and the helicopter starts flying in, and it was Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. And they came into the smokehouse, they bought some smoked salmon and smoked cheese from me, and became firm, regular customers from then on as well. He's really nice character, great character. So that was it, and away he went in the helicopter again, disturbed all the sheep in the hills and so on, but there we go. So, deaths. 1931, on this day, Legs Diamond, American gangster and bootlegger during the Prohibition era. He was shot dead and murdered at the age of 34. Then 2016, Zaza Gabor, Hungarian-born American actress, died and passed away at the age of 99. And then in 2022, this was an interesting one that caught my imagination. In 2022, Count Desmond, or Edward Benjamin, the American sword swallower, dies aged 81. I presume it must have been something that he ate that didn't agree with him. But certainly get a bit of indigestion there. So finally, I've come up with an interesting one. This is going to keep you pondering for a while. And it is as follows. Was it a car or a cat I saw? If you spell it backwards, it reads, was it a car or a cat I saw? There we are. Write it down. Was it a car or a cat I saw? And then try spelling it backwards. You'll see it is. Was it a car or a cat I saw? If anybody can find one bigger and better than that, let me know. Just drop us a line to USA Global TV, or you can email it to me at macdonaldsimon@ymail.com. So there we go. That is, there's some interesting ones today. We've kept the festive charm going, and that's it. It's just a pity that DIANN and Helena couldn't be here today as well to join in with the festive cheer. But they will be back at the beginning of the year, and we will have some more really interesting shows for you as well. So I look forward to seeing you all then, and wish you a very, very happy Christmas and a very, very happy New Year. God bless you all. Thank you for watching.